Center. I am former Michigan tight end Jake Butt, and he is former Ohio State Buckeye team captain and national champion Joshua Perry. You're grunting. I kind of think I know the answer to this question. How are you doing today?
Listen, today is one of those days where I'll go home and I'll look at my 4 pairs of gold pants from all the 4 games that I won when I was at Ohio State, and I'll just live in the past. I got my scarlet and gray on. I'm still here for my boys. Very sad, very disappointing from my side, but as you always say, that pain is reciprocal to the joy that you're feeling right now.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. You got the 4 gold pants. That's beautiful. You always have that. They can't take that away from you. All right, but let's talk about this game, JP. So Michigan won 13-10. It's their 4th straight win in the rivalry. I think it's fair we start here, and I'm going to ask you, what is the state of Ohio State football right now?
It depends on how you want to look at it, right? It depends on if you're a positive person or a negative person. Ohio State football is in a spot where they're going to get into the college football playoff. It's still a question whether they'll be able to host a first-round game or have to go on the road, but their national championship aspirations are alive. So if you want roses and sunshine, that's what you get to look at. Here's the reality of the situation. Ohio State has not fared well in big games whatsoever. They lost on the road at Oregon earlier this year. They get Michigan in a spot where they're absolutely the better football team, and they end up losing this game in a way that's unthinkable and unimaginable to a lot of people. And now you start to look at the head coach in Ryan Day, where the record against Michigan, he's 1-4, has not fared well against top 5 teams, has not done well in bowl games, has not done well in the college football playoff. And you're sitting here with a lot of questions because you're looking at a stacked roster that still has the ability to go out and compete. And you're looking at a head coach where the confidence could not be any lower in his ability to get you a win in a gotta-have-it situation. It's a really bad place to be in. I feel bad for the players in that locker room, certainly, because there's probably a lot of confusion and skepticism and looking around that they shouldn't be feeling as they're heading into the postseason. But the state of the program is great team, great roster, but no confidence that they're actually going to get the job done based off of what we saw on Saturday.
Yeah, we're here at the United Center. We got the big pro football show coming up that talks all thing Bears. And remember that Hail Mary loss earlier in the season where it was one loss, but it effectively broke the team. And what you say in football is you don't want a team to beat you twice. That's my concern for the Buckeyes right now. You lay out the scene and you go all the way back to these past 3 years where on some level I think some Buckeye fans felt, hey, Michigan cheated. You had Connor Stallions. It's your day of reckoning. It was supposed to come this past weekend.
Right.
We've talked all offseason about the roster, most expensive roster in college football, over $20 million. Your offensive coordinator you went to get a head coach of a conference foe to call plays for you. That was supposed to unlock a next level for Ryan Day.
Yep.
The roster is full of veterans, NFL players, guys I respect, NFL players that decided to come back because, per their own words, felt they had unfinished business.
Yes.
This was not supposed to happen this way.
At all.
To be effectively a 3-touchdown favorite at home against the Michigan team without their best offensive weapon, without their best corner. You're supposed to attack the secondary. They
barely
didn't.
Bowl eligible.
This loss for Ohio State it's almost impossible to grasp. I hate to say this to you. My wife and I were sitting on the couch today. We just started giggling. We started laughing because it was almost unbelievable to think that Michigan pulled this off somehow. It's a David versus Goliath situation. Yep. I question how they bounce back. They still have an amazing opportunity, but Ryan Day, he has to overcome this himself and lead his team to victory.
The idea that people are laughing at my alma mater right now is the exact issue, right? I don't understand how you have all the inputs that you mentioned. Not only a $20 million roster, you got 2 coordinators that are making $2 million apiece. You got a defensive line coach who's making $1.3 million. You got a wide receiver coach who's making $1.6 million. You spent as much money as you could spend to give Ryan Day every resource so this program could not fail. And people are laughing right now. It is a crazy place to be. And the idea is, hey, we can still go out there and win us a championship. Yeah. I don't know how you deal with that. I do not know how you respond from this situation.
I do want to, I won't say we were laughing at Ohio State.
I mean, that's pretty much.
We're giggling at holy cow, how did we get here? You know what I mean? Okay, but let's talk about that. It's fair to ask, how safe is Ryan Day's job right now?
I mean, at least the margins are getting better over the 4 years. I think it's actually a lot safer than many people would want it to be, and I'd put myself in the many people category. Folks have brought up the $37 million buyout. I don't think that's an issue if you can come up with $20 million for a roster, but certainly it's a discussion that should be had. But it's still this He's won most of his games. And by the way, people can't say he's never lost to an unranked team anymore. But he's won most of his games, and they still have the opportunity to pursue a title. I think that gives him all of the safety that he needs. And I'm curious, like, if you almost get there, if you make it into the semifinals, you appear in a national title, and you don't win, it becomes really difficult to say that you want to move away from that guy. So I think he's still got some security built in here. I'm not exactly sure that he's owed that security.
Yeah. This is complex because everything you say, he's one of the winningest coaches in college football. Sure. The way he started his career is extremely impressive. There's very few coaches that have done what he's done, and yet the standard in Columbus, it speaks to how high the standard is in Columbus. But I look at this and I say, why are you high? Why is he paid what he's paid to do at Ohio State? It's not to win a bunch of games, period. It's to win a bunch of games. And then above that, actually, it's to beat your rival and it's to win conference titles and national titles. Now we know you didn't beat your rival. You will not win a conference title. And I don't know if you win a national title. I think the question, they have got to win at least one playoff game.
I think they got to win more than that.
Right, but if you don't win the first playoff game, what are we saying? Then is it a guarantee if he doesn't win the first playoff game?
I don't think there's any other choice. And I'll put this out here, too, since you mentioned it. The 3 program objectives that we've heard from everybody associated with that program: beat Michigan, win the Big Ten title, win a national title for this year in particular. Well, Saturday, 2 of those 3 things went away. The Big Ten championship hasn't even been played yet. Like, the messaging is part of the issue, too. They hyped this thing up. They didn't run from it, and I'm glad they didn't, but now they got to reconcile with it.
I think the concern is the deck will never be more stacked than it was this weekend. That's why this loss is so puzzling for Ohio State. Like, the odds will never be tipped like that at the way they are right now. It also comes at a time where Michigan gets the number 1 player in the country in Bryce Underwood. Right. And you're saying, wow, there's some very positive momentum going forward. That's the concern. Like, why did they lose? I can't answer that question. Like, how could you lose that game, right?
It's a difficult thing, and it's funny because, like, you know, now we've gotten away from the 8 straight losses for Michigan, and but you do get to a point in this rivalry where you feel like you cannot lose. I was a part of a time where we felt like we cannot lose. And it's a dangerous spot when you walk into that game knowing you're going to win because you play like you know you're going to win, and the coaches call plays like they know they're going to win.
Man, it is. Once you get momentum, it's dangerous. It's hard to stop the momentum, and then it's harder to get your momentum going again. So, Ryan Day, this playoff run, critically important for the Buckeyes. All right, we're going to step